All right, so it's no secret the EV market is absolutely cratering, especially on the used side. We have a few things that are contributing to that. One, we have Elon Musk, Tesla, that is lowering prices, lowering prices, lowering prices. We have adoption that's not happening as quickly as a lot of these manufacturers have thought. We have Ford Mach-E's, Ford Lightnings sitting everywhere, customers not buying them. And then we have Hertz, who has really begun to liquidate all of their Model 3 inventory. They're pumping it into the system. They're pumping it into all of these auctions where dealers can buy a lot of them, resell them. Well, because of seeing this and seeing that the prices have gone down, and for myself wanting to understand the technology more, I bought one. So later on this video, I'm actually going to tell you exactly what I bought, how much I paid for it, and how many miles it's got on it, and what my plans are for this EV that I bought. So if I'm going to buy an EV, there's only going to be one that I am going to buy, and that's going to be a Tesla. So that's the model I'm going for. I feel like really they're the only ones who have figured out the technology. And two, we have that, okay, Tesla is the adult in the room as far as the EV space. They are the most popular EV to buy. So if I'm going to report on how the EV market is, and what things from a standpoint of buying one used, the goods, the bads, that kind of stuff, I'm going to buy a Tesla. So tell you why I wanted to buy this Tesla, because I know a lot of you are like, okay, well, it's EV, it's garbage. Why would you even buy it? You have all these other cars that you drive. You have stuff that you can drive. Why go this route? Well, one, because I'm a content creator and I want to be able to. I'm a content creator that covers the car market, and I feel like to understand the car market more. Obviously, the EV market is a big thing of the car market now. I want to have this to where I can talk about the technology intelligently. And I feel like the best way for me to be able to do that is to be able to use the technology and understand what I'm actually talking about. That's one big thing. Another big reason is because the EV market is getting bigger, we want to be able to make content surrounding, okay, updates on the EV market when things pop, when news things happen within the EV market. I want to be able to talk about that stuff. And on the channels that we have currently, our main channel and this channel right here, I know that there are a lot of you out there that maybe on the other end of the spectrum that don't want to hear anything EV. Understandable. I know we're going to have a segment of population that's completely anti-EV, don't want to hear anything about it. There's a segment of population that is all EV and they want to only hear about EV stuff. And I want to be able to make a channel that's covering the EV market, but be able to pull it away from the regular content that you're going to see from me, just because there's some of you out there that don't want to see it. So I'm honoring you in segmenting it out, so you don't get that filled up in your notifications and your homepage. So we're able to do that. But also, I feel like when I've been researching the EV market myself, it seems like there's also creators that are on both ends of the spectrums, and there's not a lot of in the middle. And I feel like because there's this void in the middle of, okay, I'm not anti-EV, I'm also not super bull on the EV market, I'm not this Tesla fanboy. I feel like there's not any of that right in the middle, and I want to be able to provide hopefully a voice of reason, be able to give my experience honestly and not, okay, say something's great about Tesla and maybe it's not, or maybe not bash it where it doesn't need to be bashed. That's what I want to be able to provide for those of you that want to know this information. So where did I buy it from? I went to auction and bought it. So I tried to go buy a Tesla from dealers, and it's complete and utter nonsense. This has nothing to do with the actual Tesla that I bought. It's the dealership model. It's so bad. And I'm a used car dealer, right? I mean, you guys know that that I buy and sell cars, and I do it in a retail capacity. I'm a dealership. I have a car dealer. I have a lot, and other car dealers don't operate anywhere close to how I operate. And it's just absolutely insane to see the nonsense that you guys have to deal with being retail customers. There's been multiple car dealerships now that I've went to, and the price that you see online is nowhere close to what you actually have to pay for the car. Recently did a video, not going to get into it, but went to look at a $14,000 Tesla a few days ago, and when I got there, it turned into an $18,000 Tesla just like that. So, and it wasn't as described, wasn't even charged. It's just absolute nonsense how terrible. I don't know how they expect to even sell cars operating like that. So just blows my mind. Anyway, feel bad for you that you have to deal with this, but luckily I can go to an auction and buy one. The problem was they don't come up a whole lot where I'm at. There's Model 3s that come up all the time. What I was looking for in particular was a Model S. I actually didn't buy a Model S, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But Model S's never show up at auction as far as what I can see, and I've been looking now for the last like 3 months to try to buy one. Couldn't find one, so I thought I was going to have to go the dealership route and pay the little bit of extra money. Turns out it's not a little bit of extra money, it's a bit of extra money. And I know there'll be questions about from you guys that are looking for a used a Tesla. Why not go through Tesla and buy one used straight from them, because they have lots of used inventory. And to tell you the truth, I actually got hooked up with with someone who works at Tesla that does a lot with their used inventory, and he actually was helping me try to find one through Tesla. The problem with that is there's two things. One is just price. So Tesla's used prices are, even from what I can see at dealers, $5,000 to $10,000 more in a lot of cases, at least the cars that I was looking for, more than what I can find a similar thing just at a dealer. So even if I was going to find one from an individual, it would be even less than that. So Tesla's used inventory is not going to be one that I go to. I know that there's these benefits of, okay, you get added warranty, you get it, that it's serviced through Tesla. They check it out to make sure, whatever. It's all that's not worth the extra money, how much more it costs to buy a used EV through Tesla versus going somewhere else where I can check it out before I buy it. Two is you can't put your hands on the used Tesla before you buy it from Tesla. So if it's not literally at the center that's right near me, I think the closest one near me is in it's right around Charlotte, and it's probably 40 miles away from me. It's at the other end of Charlotte. I could go there, but usually the one, like I was looking for an S, they would only have two, and maybe it wasn't the exact kind that I wanted to buy. So maybe the one that I wanted to buy was 500 miles away, but you literally had to put a deposit down on that car before you could get it to you. And then at that point, if you decide that you don't want it because of whatever issue that car might have, then you lose your deposit. So the big thing why I feel like I had to put my hands on a Tesla before I could buy it is because the build quality issues. I've seen this. All my research has shown that every Tesla is not alike. Each one of their builds is going to be completely different. Your panel gaps are going to be different. Trim that could be a little off is going to be different on a lot of cars. And build quality was a big concern for me. So especially if it's used and it can be treated however it was treated, I just need to put my hands on that used Tesla before I buy it. And through Tesla, you can't do that. And I don't trust Tesla as a company to be able to say, okay, well, these panel gaps are just okay. Like they might not meet my standard because, okay, they had those panel gaps that came out from the factory. That build quality was bad from the factory. They already said, yeah, that's okay. We'll send it out. So I know on the used side, they're going to send out some stuff that maybe I would not be okay with buying myself. So anyway, I bought this. I saw this Tesla come up at an auction that was very close to me. I said, okay, you know what? It's not exactly what I was looking for, but I'm ready to go ahead and start doing some of this EV content. Let's go ahead and buy one. Luckily, I'm a used car dealer, so if I get in it, I hate it, I don't want to drive it anymore, I can just go ahead and sell it. I might lose some money, but whatever, I'll sell it. So I went and bought it, and I can tell you what I bought and what I paid for it. So this was a trade-in. Most of the cars that I buy at auction. This one wasn't from Hertz. I've looked at quite a few Hertz um, EVs, and their Model 3s, they are rough. They are very rough. Um, and it seems like the ones that I've seen at auction that I've even tried to bid on that I thought were decent, they wanted too much for them. Like they weren't. I was the high bidder on three Teslas, three Model 3s. Like I would say it's probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I tried to buy three of them at one auction, and they no sold all three of them, and they didn't even come back with a counter. So that tells me that we were thousands apart, and I gave less, a lot less for this one that I recently bought than I bid on those other ones. So that's just going to tell you that Hertz is still has a lot of inventory, and the reason why they still have a lot of inventory is because they're trying to get too much out of the inventory that they currently have. But anyway, those Hertz cars are rough. I'm going to try to. I'm gonna have to really, really put my hands on a car if it came from Hertz, just because those things have been abused. If you think about a rental company, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm going to test the car's limits if I'm getting a rental car. I want to know how that car does. I'm not going to care about the longevity of that rental car if I'm renting it. So you can imagine people who have never driven an EV and then rent one, and the acceleration that an EV has. I don't care if it's your lowest model EV, but the acceleration that an EV is going to have versus a gas powered car, it's a whole different ball game. So people are going to test that out if they rent them. So I would rather not be buying from Hertz. But this one was a trade in. So where most of the cars that I buy, they come from they trade in a car for a brand new car, and then it makes its way to the auction. But this was traded into a BMW store. So the owner of this Tesla, they probably were getting out of an electric car and went to probably a Model 3 or something like that. This is, I mean, anecdotal. I don't know. That would be my assumption. So I bought a 2019. Yep, I bought a 2019 Tesla Model 3, and it says this is something that's bad about auctions too. It says it was a long range. I thought it was going to be a long range when I looked at it, but I looked more into it, and it's not a long range. It's a standard range plus. But it's a 2019 Model 3, and it's got 86,000 miles. And I'm actually happy that it had higher mileage on it, because this is something that I wanted to test. And this is something that is going to be important with me making EV content and showing more used EVs. I'm probably going to end up buying some more of them. And I really would love to find one that's got almost 200,000 miles on it, because there's a lot of questions surrounding how long the battery lasts, the build quality, how do they hold up? And these are things that you really can't find out there. And I want to be able to show you what it is, because if you don't need to buy a high mileage EV, I want to be the one to show that. But if you can buy a high mileage Tesla and it still be okay, I also want to show that, right? I want to give the true story behind whatever's going on, because I just don't feel like it's out there. I talked about that earlier. I feel like you have your anti-EVer and you have your Tesla bull, and there's not much in the middle, and that's the voice that I want to be. But anyway, it's got 86,000 miles. And from what I found, the original battery on it was 240 miles is what it came with. And I did a full charge last night, and I get 200 miles. Now, from what I've heard from like Farzad and Dr. Know-It-All, they cover the space a lot, is that those miles are going to be optimistic. I haven't pushed it all the way from 200 miles to almost zero to see how accurate that is. But from what Farzad has told me is that you should expect it to be like 10% optimistic. So I should probably expect it to have like 180 miles of charge. But you can just see, so that car's now 5 years old, and it's lost 40 miles of the 240 that it originally came with. So what's that, like 15-ish percent? Let's see here, 20% would be 48 miles, and it's lost 40 miles. So what, 16-17% is how much that battery has lost on its charge. So 5 years, 86,000 miles, and it's lost 16-17% of its range. That's way better than what I would have thought. For those comments I see all the time saying, okay, well, the battery's going to explode in 3 or 4 years, that's not what happens. They don't go to zero that quickly. And for the more research that I've seen and done, the batteries can actually hold charge and hold a lot of their charge for years and miles and years to come. So that's not something I'm going to necessarily worry about all that much as I'm looking at higher mileage Teslas specifically. Now, other EVs, I don't know. I have to do a little bit more research on them. But that's something that surprised me, and I was actually happy about. As far as charging goes, we recently bought a new house. I've got a garage I can put it in. The first time I charged it was with the slow charger, which is just your 120 volt like wall outlet. And I was getting 5 or 6 miles an hour. So over the course of the night, it did a little bit more than that. It got me about 100 miles worth of charge overnight. So that's another thing that also surprised me about this Tesla is that thinking, okay, if there's a person that just drives around town or whatever, they actually don't need the 240 volt outlet to get the faster charging. They just plug it up at night and just drive the next day, and then plug it up at night and just drive the next day. So all of that seems to be a plus on Tesla side. But we did have a 240 volt outlet put in just a few days ago, and I can get 30 plus miles per hour of charge with that. So that's really a game changer for someone who does drive a lot. Now, obviously, you're not going to charge in the middle of the day, but this is one of the reasons why I feel like I was able to buy this now is because we bought this new house. I was able to put the car in the garage. But if we were going to have to park it outside in the driveway or something, I could do it. I could run a drop cord out to charge it, but I wouldn't feel as comfortable about it. So I think that's going to be a big barrier for people who want to buy Teslas or EVs in general. They're going to have to be able to park them inside of a garage to be able to charge it. I know there's going to be a lot of comments saying, well, it's going to burn your house down, right? You should probably actually look at that data, because I looked at it a little bit, and there have been fewer incidents of batteries and cars actually catching fire while charging than you probably think. So maybe do the research on that. I'm not going to draw any conclusions for that. I need to do more research. But I knew I was going to get a lot of comments about that, so I did look it up. Do your research. If you think that's the case, if you think that's a common thing to happen, you should probably look it up. Anyway, so the price that I paid for this car, I paid $17,800, and I don't have my buyer fee on this bill of sale. I don't know why, but it's not there. But I think the buyer fee on it was like $500 probably. So $17,800 for a 2019 Tesla Model 3 with 86,000 miles. I'll have a buyer fee. I think it's $500. It's going to be somewhere around there. If it's not 500, it's within $100 of that. So you think 18,300 is what I have in it altogether. Didn't need tires. I did look at that because I know that Teslas they burn through tires just because of the weight and how people drive them. So what am I planning to do with this car? Well, I'm going to drive it for a little bit, get used to it, make some content with it, and then eventually we'll probably sell it. It doesn't fit my lot. We sell cars $5,000 and under here, but we're starting this new thing with Car Edge where we're going to buy some more expensive cars, some newer cars. I'll probably end up selling it through that eventually, as long as I don't see anything really, really bad wrong with it, because obviously I want to sell good cars to people. Negatives now. I said some of the positives. Let's get to the negatives now so we can be on both sides. Build quality. Already said it was definitely an issue. It's going to be an issue with Tesla. This is a known thing. Panel gaps, from what I've seen on my back passenger door, If you're not looking at it really closely, it almost looks like it's cracked open. And I went up and pushed on it, and it's absolutely closed, but because the panel gap is just a little bit off, it can look a little bit like it's open. Right where the hood is, both of those gaps are different. I already have trim pieces that are, the clips have worn down and they're popping off. So right at the driver's seat belt, that trim is loose off of the actual car, because those clips have worn down, and the trim that's up front, I don't know if it's actual wood, I think it's wood, but that is starting to peel and crack already. So those are some big negatives about the car that I have, at least. As far as driving it, it's been very fun to drive. Handling, it does not, it accelerates like a sports car, but it does not handle like a sports car. What I immediately thought about, because of the size of it, it's small, and the way that it handles is kind of, it's kind of rough just a little bit. It almost feels like it's a really fast 2005 Kia Spectra. I try to relate it to what I know, and we bought a lot of these little Kia Spectras. It feels like the same size as this Kia Spectra, and it kind of handles the same way. It's not, it doesn't handle like it looks like it should handle. So it's that's a big negative, I feel like, for the Tesla. But yeah, so let's get a couple questions. Here we go. Did you sell the other Teslas? All right. No, I made some videos saying that I tried to buy some Teslas. That might be what you're referring to. Just like those three that I tried to buy at auction, and Hertz wouldn't sell them to me because we were just too far apart. They wanted way too much money for them. But no, I haven't. This is the first Tesla I've ever owned. And hopefully there's going to be more that I'm able to buy and sell, just to see where it goes. But no, I didn't sell any others because I didn't have any others. And I saw a question about getting it serviced. So yeah, the more Teslas that people are driving, the more service centers you're going to see pop up, the more third party service you're going to see. But right now, as far as what I understand, you can get mobile service. I saw it on the app for Tesla on my phone, that I can request service. They can come out to my house or wherever my location is and be able to service it there. But if it needs more than that, obviously I got to go to the Tesla service center. So that's a big negative, I feel like, just because there's not a lot of places out there still for the car market, still a new technology. So there's not a lot of places where you can actually get them fixed outside of Tesla. How much did I pay? Or I told you 17,008, and then plus buyer fee. Yeah, so I talked about this earlier too. So did I ever consider buying a Tesla from Hertz? Yeah, and I'm honestly glad. Well, I'll just circle back around to it. I'm very glad that they would not take what I tried to buy it for, or the three of those for, just because I feel like I might have opened up a can of worms, and had to deal with some kind of repair that I wasn't seeing. And to tell you the truth, I don't really know how to check out a Tesla yet. I'm going to learn that too, and I'm going to bring you along with me, and we're going to find out some of these things together. One big thing that I want to look into is a lot of the either facts or misconceptions that come along with EVs, and I see them a lot in my comments. Well, the easy one is, okay, if you keep it in your garage and you charge in your garage, it's going to catch your house on fire. Well, that hadn't happened yet, and I want to look more into that. I think that can be a misconception of EVs in general. Another one is that the batteries are going to not last very long at all. I got one right now. It's got 86,000 miles and 5 years old, and the battery is still fine. So that's some of the things that I want to bust, either the myths or the facts. That's what we're going to do on this new channel. I'm not going to tell you what the name of this channel is yet, because we haven't put it out yet. And my wife came up with a name, and it's brilliant. And I know if I say it out loud, someone else is going to steal it. So we're not going to say the name yet. And what's your insurance on it? I've got it through my dealership, so I don't have to put regular people insurance on it. So that's a benefit for me, being able to move in and out of these cars, moving in and out of these EVs. My insurance rates are not going to change because of it. Anyway, but I want to thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, do all the things. Subscribe and see if I can figure out how to end the stream. I hit the button.